You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week, or this past week, I didn't really see anything major in the news. Trump did get India and I think it's Pakistan, or was it Afghanistan? One of the two. They were getting ready to get in a war, and Trump got him to call a ceasefire and sit down and talk. So he did that, and then he got China to bend the knee on the tariffs situation. They're fixing to work out a deal. They lowered some of the tariff percentage or whatever, and he's got just about every country making deals, except he just made a huge one with the UK. The only ones who are being bitches right now is Canada. Canada is being a bitch because they went full on woke. Their government, not their people. I don't really have a problem with the people. It's the governments. I can't stand a lot of these governments because they're criminals. They're basically mobs, is what they are. But anyways. Canada's the only one that's being a bitch about it. That's okay. It'll come to bite them in the ass. But anyways, that's pretty much all I saw. That was really that. I didn't see anything new about movies or anything like that that I can think of off the top of my head. We all know Thunderbolts didn't do so well. Calling them the new Avengers was a joke. But Disney's got some problems. So does Warner Brothers. This James Gunn, now it's the James Gunn Superman. It's going to be dumb. They're so dumb. They keep putting in these writers who steal from the 80s and can't write worth a shit. Anyways, enough of that. So as I've said before, even if you don't watch the channel regularly, and you've only seen a couple videos, or you don't watch it at all, it only takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. It doesn't affect you or your channel whatsoever. It just helps this channel grow. So please subscribe. Also, I have another channel. It's called Easy Does It. The link is in the About section. Check it out if you like gaming vlogs and reviews and reactions to other YouTube channels. Okay. Again, subscribe. Let's get on to talk about what I really want to talk to you about. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is a few seasons of a few shows. Season 3 of The Wheel of Time. I did watch it. I don't know why. It's so dumb. It's nothing like the books whatsoever. They changed it all. And the guy who's directing it and the writer, the feminist crap, they literally tell you that they full on did all that shit to piss off the fans of Robert Jordan in his books, which they did. They pissed them all off. all that gay, lesbian, alphabet community crap, it's not in the books. You don't have all them gay couples in the book or lesbian couples in the books. And a lot of people don't even know the lore that goes behind the story. Also, this director or writer, he's killing off characters that ain't even supposed to die. He's adding characters that aren't in the books. None of the characters fit the part that they're supposed to fit. The lore is that there were Aes Sedai, and then there were the men. And the men ruled the planet because they were far more powerful with the source than the women were. Some of the women got jealous. They didn't like the fact that men were more powerful. So they tainted the source and created the Dark Lord. And then forevermore, the source has been tainted for men. That's why they would go nuts. And the Aes Sedai had a reason to form the red unit that would go after the men and either, basically castrate them from the source or the power or whatever you want to call it, or they would just straight up kill them. And it had been that way for a long time. However, when the Dark Lord came after them and he created the Forsaken, there was a man that they called the Dragon, and they got behind him and fought the Dark Lord and the Forsaken. They won, but the dragon got killed. But he was supposed to be reincarnated, and the Dark Lord got imprisoned. But he was vowed to come back. Now it's been all this time, and again, the women are still jealous that men have all that power. They've still been attacking men and blah 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 because the source is tainted for men. It usually drives them crazy. Now, in the show, it doesn't completely show this, but the women are still jealous. They're supposed to back the new dragon, the Dragon Reborn, which is Rand, but they refuse to do it. They don't want men to rule again because the second time he comes back, he's supposed to completely obliterate the Dark Lord, and men are supposed fix the one where it's not tainted anymore, and men will rule once again, and the women don't want that. So it's a very feministic approach, but they've gone full, and it's not. It's supposed to be, they're supposed to work together, but the show doesn't do that. They try to make it full-on feminist, and that's not the way Robert Jordan wrote it. But anyways, regardless, this, to the normies, they may like this show because they don't know the lore or anything about the books. I do. I read all the books. I love that series. So, regardless, anyway, let's get on to Andor. Season 2. I can't even believe they made a season 2 of this motherfucking show. Most god-awful, boring show. I like the concept. I've said that before when I discussed the first season. A rebel spy, a show about a rebel spy, that's actually pretty a cool concept, but I don't like the actor who plays Andor. He's terrible. He doesn't even come off as a spy. It's just god awful. And this season, this is so dumb. They linger on certain aspects of the story for way too long. Like that whole scene where she's trying to get the communicator out of the art piece. It was just, it took forever. It just dragged and dragged. And that's what most of the show is, just dragging out the story. Like they have no continuity or whatever. It just, they can't fucking just keep it moving along. They got to drag it out. And it just makes the show so boring. You know, it made no sense that his girlfriend's now this drug addict who can't get over a soldier trying to kill them that she had to kill. It made no sense. Like, it was self-defense. You know, that was dumb. And then, that last part where they're trying to escape with the senator, which I can't stand that woman anyway, the senator. That's the new senator. It's just, why? Some feminist senator is supposed to help lead the rebellion. My ass. But anyways, it was dumb. The show's dumb. You really don't need to watch it. It's a cool concept, but the way they execute it is just god awful. Let's see. And then there's Tracker, season 2. I really want a murder mystery type show where the main antagonist is a guy who's funny, kind of like Monk and Mentalist, you know, shit like that. But no, they can't put one out. God forbid they should do that. Anyways, Tracker's about the most decent murder mystery kind of show. He basically just finds people for reward money or whatever. There was a couple episodes where I was like, I don't know, it just seems too easy. Like there was one episode where there was this female sheriff or cop or whatever, and she's just following him around as he's looking around for clues, and she's like, well, this seems about right, blah blah blah, you know, I don't know who you are, I don't know nothing about you, but I'm gonna tell you everything about the fucking case. They had an episode where he's dealing with the FBI, same thing. We know who you are, but you know what, I think you should help us on the case, even though you're not a cop or an FBI agent. You know, it's just stupid shit like that that made no sense. Like, I don't care. They're not going to share info like that. But anyways, it was just silly, dumb stuff where he's finding clues that are left out right in plain sight of the officers or some shit. And they're doing this, looking around like they can't see it. It was so dumb. But anyways, now I don't know why they got rid of the other lesbian woman, but they did, which I'd rather her be in it than the thing, the it that's in it. But anyways, and Renee is annoying. I'm sorry, but she's super annoying. Miss Boss bitch, she's better than everybody else kind of shit. It's just annoying. And then they, about halfway through, they brung in this, his hacker buddy. They brung in his like cousin to help out. Now he's in the show too. That don't make any sense. You don't need two hacker dudes. I don't get why they did that. But anyways, the show's okay. It's decent. Check it out if you want. It's about the only decent murder mystery show I've seen. That Will Trent, I know about it, but it's so dumb. I watched like two episodes of that shit, and I was like, nope. They make him out to be a pussy. So I was like, nope. But anyways, that's what I have on you so far for those. It's Tractor's okay. Wheel Time and Andor, don't even waste your time. They can't even do the stories right. But anyways, let's get on to your B movie reviews. Okay, movie holics, this week is Sci-Fi Week. And I told you I'd finish up on the Universal Soldiers this week. We got 2 more, and then we're done with those. So Universal Soldier, the 4th one, is called Regeneration. And of course it has Jean-Claude in it. And they bring back Dolph Lundgren in this. He's like this clone or whatever. And then Emily Joyce is the main female lead in this. It was done in 2009. Surprisingly, it only made about 850,000. It was both these newer ones. They were done on Netflix, so it's not surprising. It's not a theatrical release. Now in this one, they went and ignored all the previous versions except for the first one, and this is kind of like almost a sequel to the first one. Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, Luke Devereaux, he's kind of like in this rehabilitation kind of thing. And the doctor, Emily or whatever's character, she's trying to help him rehabilitate and trying to work on him to join society again. But this has been going on for years, so that makes no sense that they're still working on him. But anyway, there's this terrorist attack. This terrorist group kidnaps a couple of kids from, oh hell, I don't remember the country. They stole one of them Eastern European countries, but they steal a couple of kids, or kidnap a couple of kids from this prime minister of the country, and they go to Chernobyl and they rig it up with explosives and threaten to release radiation all over the world from that place by blowing it up. They have a Universal Soldier with them from a previous scientist. There's 2 scientists, and one of them went with them, the terrorist group, and he is helping them. He stole one of the Universal Soldiers that went nuts. But they're using him to guard the bombs and stuff. They send in, there's another scientist they get, the U.S. government gets a hold of, or I'm guessing it's the U.S. government. I don't know which government it is. I think it's the U.S. But they send in troops, and then they send in, there's like 4 of them left, these Universal soldiers. But they're, how do I explain this? They're the old Universal soldiers. So apparently they're not as good as this new one that this other scientist has, because he's pumped them up full of extra shit or whatever, chemicals and stuff, has changed his DNA or some crap. Anyways, they no longer are in refrigerator units. They're in these little coffin-like things that keep them fridge, kind of like like you see in space movies where they're in the, you know, the hell they call them, where they're frozen or whatever in space. That's what they look like, sort of. But they look like giant mattresses to me. But anyways, he kills all the old Universal soldiers and a lot of the men, regular men. So they get John Devereaux, which is Jean-Luc's character, and they pump him full of shit to get him back to being a soldier, and so they can send him in to stop this dude. Well, the other guy also has one other Universal soldier, which is a clone of the character Andrew, which is Dolph Lundgren's character. So now he has a clone which he uses to help attack, which goes nuts and starts killing everybody. Dolph Lundgren's character, he's still wacko, and he starts killing everybody, including the scientists. I thought it would have been better if him and the new bad guy, Universal Soldier, started fighting, but they didn't do that. They had Jean-Claude take out Dolph's character, and then they had Jean-Claude fight the new one, and he saves the kids and turns off the bomb, blah blah blah, rescues the day, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. He doesn't go back, he runs away, he goes AWOL, and that's the end of the movie. It was okay for like a sci-fi action flick. It was alright. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't like horrible either. It was worth a one-time watch, I guess you would say. Alright, let's move on to the next one. I mean, I give a thumbs up, thumbs down. It was alright. Universal Soldier 5 is called Day of Reckoning. It was done in 2012. Only made about 1.4 million. Again, Netflix. This time you have Scott Adkins as the main protagonist, and Mariah Bonner, I guess is her name. She's the main female lead. They tried to do this kind of like, if you've ever seen RoboCop, they did something similar. He's like having flashbacks and memory of a family which you later learn on he never really had. It was implanted in him, this memory of a family, and that Jean-Claude character came in there, his character came in there and killed him in front of him, and he recovered. So now the government's got him wanting to kill Jean-Claude Van Damme, because apparently from the last movie he went rogue and he started helping the clones and shit, and all the Universal soldiers escaped the government, and they want him back, which is kind of strange, because at the end of the fourth movie, you at the very end you see that they clone this one guy like many times, but they don't go into it. I don't know why, but they didn't. But anyways, he starts tracking Jean-Claude Van Damme's character. And he later finds out that he's not the only one they've sent before. He figures out he's a clone too. And he's, like I said, he's not the first one they've sent after him. None of the others have been able to take out Jean-Claude's character. They're hoping he does, because they changed things a little bit with him. He has to fight around the bad guys. He meets up this girl who thinks that he's the previous version, which he meets, but he ends up fighting him and killing him. Is a clone of himself. He finds Jean-Claude's character, and he's got to fight around the bad guys, and then he's got to fight Dolph Lundgren again, and he kills apparently the scientists from the fourth movie are actually still alive, and he kills them because they're trying to help the clones, which makes no sense, but whatever, because they died in the other one, so I don't know how they brought them back unless they're supposed to be clones too. I don't get it. But anyways, he kills everybody basically. He even kills Jean-Claude's character. But Jean-Claude, before he dies, he tells him, he says it never ends. They keep making another John. So basically they're still cloning them, even though he's killed all these clones. In the end, he starts talking to this FBI agent, blah blah blah, and he kills the main FBI agent and his group. He's now the leader of the resistance of the clones, I guess, and they clone the FBI agent to take his place, and that's the end of the movie. This movie was done more like a survival horror type game. It was really strange. It was more of a thriller. There was just a little bit of action towards the end of the movie. I did not like this one at all. I thought it was dumb. Plus, I've always liked Dolph Lundgren and the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, but dude, they're fucking old as fuck in this movie. I give this one 2 thumbs down. It was terrible. I did not like this movie. I didn't like the main guy. Couldn't act worth a shit anyway. Scott Adkins or whatever. He sucked. Anyways, yeah, terrible movie. They could have left this one out. Dumb. And apparently they're going to make another one, supposedly. They're trying to get another one going. A reboot of the franchise. Why? Nobody really cares about these Universal Soldier movies. It was a cheesy ass movie, the first one. It was okay, but it was cheesy. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you can think of any underrated or B-rated movies or movies you think I may never even have heard of, that's my thing. Leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I told you you'd be told the truth.